Oh my Lord, here we go. It is really if no one's looking at the Eastern Conference bottom 7 through 10, I would say. I'm gonna look over. The bottom 7 through 10, because the Hornets don't have a chance. There's about four more games left. And there's three teams I want you to think about. You are watching literally the World Rumble of basketball. And I hate to say this, the East really sucks. I mean, the records of these teams on the West, they would be, near lottery. On the East, they're still in playoff contention. I mean, literally, the Hornets, as bad as they done this year, they're still technically somewhere in the realm of the playoffs. They were close to getting in, so just that puts it in perspective. But D Wade and Miami Heat, I really hope D Wade makes it. They're at the bottom right now. It's between the Miami Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, and Orlando Magic. Now, I made a prediction a couple days ago, and talking about Orlando Magic is probably going to beat out the Nets because they have the better body, a better team. If we look at the team roster-wise on paper, Orlando Magic is a strong team. They have a lot of long bodies. They have two good centers. They got a defensive center in Mo Bamba who's not even playing. They're real. The place where they really need help is the point guard position. I wish I could have seen what Markelle Fultz would have brought to that team because they have 3-point shooting with Fournier, Ross. Even Gordon has extended his range. So Vujicic has extended his range. So they have 3-point shooters to the fact, he could have done a Ben Simmons on that team. But he's not ready this year. And they're playing with, a couple of, I'm not going to say G League guards, but, C, B minus guards that are DJ Augustine and Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Briscoe. These are solid players, but are they players that you can play with in this NBA? No, you need at least a B plus guard in this league to be able to survive, or a conglomerate of a lot of Bs. And I don't think they necessarily have that, even though these guys don't hurt you by the way they play, which means low turnovers, smart plays. They still put you in contention. The big signing for the Orlando Magic was Michael Carter Williams. What a move there! Whoever made that should be commended from a GM perspective on what a turnaround he has made for this team. He is now starting in the point guard role, and is doing a great job. Big long body, 6'7". Remember, at one point, Rookie of the Year with the 76ers. So Michael Carter Williams, hey, he's taking advantage of his opportunity and making some moves with the Orlando Magic. Now let's go back, okay? Let's look at what's happening to the Brooklyn Nets, who were so successful with team ball. I've always mentioned this. They have overachieved, all right, even being in the playoff realm. That roster is straight G League except D'Angelo Russell. No offense, all right? A couple of guys have gotten their minutes to where they have enough time to upgrade themselves to be players. So what I mean by that is you got players that probably could have been out of the league if they were on some other teams because of lack of playing time and amount of talent. But because of their situation, have got the playing time. Now they have experience, and I think all of them will go on to have good long careers in the NBA because they were able to get the experience this year, get the minutes, and no matter who you are, if you're in the NBA, no offense, you can probably score, rebound, and block shots at some capacity. You're not just a sorry bastard if you made it to the NBA. Sorry, everyone can produce if given the minutes. Can you produce wins? That is the question. I think you can. Let's say I can say everyone can score 20 points, but is that 20 points going to get you a win? And that's the difference between the upper echelon teams and the lower tier teams. Think about a Ricky Davis who's an extremely great scorer, great athlete, but that turned into wins. I know his team played a role in that. It did not. Let me get back to the subject. Brooklyn Nets, I feel, have the biggest chance to get knocked out. Okay. Not only because I necessarily don't want to see him there, all right? It's not that I hate D'Angelo Russell. It's just that, I love D'Angelo Russell, but the rest of that team, what are they going to do with the Bucks at the A slot? Okay. What are they really going to do with the Bucks at the 8th slot? I think the Bucks possibly trounce the Brooklyn Nets. But if it was the Orlando Magic versus the Bucks, that would be an interesting matchup. A very, very interesting matchup. With the Bucks going through some injury woes at current state. They haven't rested Giannis. I know he's 24 years old, but rest is key for any player. How would that line up? All right. How would the Miami Heat versus the Bucks line up? And then you go to the second team, Raptors versus a Magic, Raptors versus a Heat. That is a much more tantalizing lineup. I would love to see the Florida teams make it. It is a war to the end. Last 4 games, let's see what the Magic have in place for themselves. By the way, their records 39-40 for the Orlando Magic and the Brooklyn Nets. And then the Miami Heat are 38-40. So that tells you about 4 games left. Depending on who they play, that's probably where we're going to see it end up between those teams. Is going to be interesting. Nets, they have the Bucks, okay, tomorrow night. They only have 3 games. They lost to the Raptors last night, okay. Can they beat the Bucks? Bucks still want to keep the first place spot. I don't know if they're going to rest anybody. Then they have the Pacers. And in a really interesting freaking matchup, they have the freaking Miami Heat. Can you imagine that? Miami Heat versus Nets for a playoff spot, kind of like the NCAA tournament. I mean, that should be a must-game watch for any NBA fan. Orlando Magic, let's see who they got. I'm going to jump over there real quick. I should have had this up earlier. I'm going to click on whoever comes up. So, Miami Heat has come up, so I'm going to talk about those guys. They face the Raptors. Excuse me. They face they have 4 games. They face the Timberwolves tonight. They got to get the win tonight. They face the Raptors. Can they sneak in and win versus the Raptors? Because they have a tough lineup here. Then they have the Sixers. They have to win out one of the games between the Sixers and the Raptors. They probably have a better chance with the Sixers, who I think may be playing rest ball at this point. Raptors will still be going full bore. I like the Heat playing the Timberwolves. They got to get the win tonight. I know they're tired from the fight with the Celtics. That was another must win. They wouldn't win any of the Celtics games, and that was the problem. They lost out both of those. But they got to beat the Timberwolves tonight. They got to jump on and see if they can make it with the Raptors. And then they'll have the Sixers. And then, like I said, that NCAA tournament-like game versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, let's go over to the Orlando Magic. Again, 4 games left for the Heat. 3 games left for the Magic. I don't know why the Magic don't pull up. It's like they got no games left. Orlando Magic remaining games. Let me just go there. And I apologize for holding you guys up. I should have had this ready. But Orlando Magic remaining games. I believe they have 3 remaining games left because I'm taking too long to kill the video. And my PC was up and then it shut down. They're going to have to make some big plays here. So it looks like tonight versus the Hawks. Then they have the Celtics on Sunday. Then they have the Hornets. On paper, the Magic have the easiest schedule, and they have to win out all 3 games. They're going to have to beat the Hawks tonight. They're going to have to beat. Can't be if they can't let Trey get going. They got to beat this team. They got to. They got to beat the Celtics. Some way, somehow, got to find a way to beat the Celtics. And some way, somehow, got to beat the Hornets. I know it's the easiest of the bunch. It's still a tough road. But if the Magic want to make the playoffs, they're gonna. I think they have to win out all of their games. And the Brooklyn Nets are gonna have to lose 2 of those, and the Miami Heat are gonna have to win 2 of those to make my playoff predictions happen for a Florida run for 7 to 8. And it'd be nice to see those teams in the playoffs with the talent they have finally getting in and making some noise. But Dwayne Wade has always willed his team through. But at this time, Dwayne Wade, he has the talent It's all about the talent comp making something happen. I don't know where Mr. Whiteside is, but they definitely underachieved in the East, and they need to make the playoffs this year. Their problem is the guard position. They should have picked up a quicker guard, but they don't have one. So at this time, I'm going to sign off work. Actually, they got Dragic and what's his name? And Winston. So, yeah, they on paper, Miami Heat have underachieved. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe lack of three-point shooting. But they need to make it in. Magic, that's an iffy. I don't want to see the Brooklyn Nets. But again, Florida teams at the end. We're looking at the NCAA, baby, of basketball in the East. I'm out.